Okay, in this video, I'm going to go over what the discriminant means and based on the sign, how many solutions that we have. So this section right here, it's page 125 and it's called Finding the Discriminant. So remember, the discriminant, there's a formula for it. It's b squared minus 4ac, okay? Well, where does that come from? That comes from the quadratic formula. So I'm going to write that down too. The quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Okay, so the idea is we're only talking about this part right here. That's called the discriminant. If the discriminant, remember, is negative, there's no solution because we can't take the square root of a negative number. If the discriminant is equal to 0, we have what's called one repeated solution because plus or minus 0 of anything will give you the same thing. If the discriminant or the inside of the square root is positive, we're going to have two solutions. Okay, 21, right? Remember, in order to do the quadratic formula or the discriminant, we need the right side of the equation equal 0. So for number 21, I have to fix it. The first step is going to be to add 3p to both sides. So I'm going to add 3p to both sides. And then I'm going to get p squared plus 10p plus 33 is equal to 8. The 3p's cancel on the right. Next step, I still need 0 on the right side, so I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. Okay, so then I'm going to get p squared plus 10p plus 25 is equal to 0. Now I'm at a place where I can actually find the discriminant. Remember, the discriminant is only part of the quadratic formula. It's not the whole thing. But if we only know the discriminant, we can figure out how many solutions that we have, okay? So finding the value of the discriminant here, you always want to label. A here is 1. That's the number in front of the p squared term. B is 10. And C is 25, okay? Now what's the next step? To find the discriminant, which again is this b squared minus 4ac term, we have to just plug everything in. So we're going to do 10 squared minus 4 times 1 times 25. 10 squared is 100. Minus 4 times 25 is also 100. Or the discriminant in this case is just 0. So what that means is if the discriminant is 0, we have one repeated solution. That's what that means. And it also gives you an indication of what the quadratic will look like. It will look something like this. It's going to touch the x-axis exactly once. Okay, let's go to the next problem. 22. Here, the right side's already 0, so this should be an easy problem. I can just automatically identify the a, b, and c. A is 7, b is 2, c is 5, okay? And now I'm just going to find the value of the discriminant. It's b squared minus 4ac. So the discriminant here would be 2 squared minus 4 times 7 times 5, or 4 minus, and then now I have to do 20 times 7, that's 140, or here I'm going to get minus 136. Okay, now here the discriminant is negative. The discriminant is negative, so because the discriminant here, which is only the b squared minus 4ac part, the discriminant, so the discriminant here is negative, then that means that there's going to be no solution. Whenever there's no solution for the quadratic formula, it means that the quadratic will not hit the x-axis, okay? Okay, last one here. Here, there's all kinds of things wrong with number 23. 23, we have to have 0 on the right side. So I'm going to subtract y squared from both sides. I'm going to subtract 4y from both sides. And then I'm also going to add 3 to both sides. So basically, I'm just moving all the terms from the right over to the left. Okay? So on the left side, I have a y squared. I'm going to have a 6y. And then the 3 is just hanging out. And now I have 0 on the right side. Okay. Now what? So now identify a, b, and c. A is 1, b is 6, c is 3. What's b squared minus 4ac? It's going to be 6 squared minus 4 times a times c. 36 minus 12, and that ends up being 24. So in this case here, this is the positive version. 24 is a positive number. So in this case here, I would say that the discriminant here is positive, which means we're going to have two solutions. And when you draw out the quadratic will look something like this, where it hits the x-axis twice. Okay, I hope this video helped. This should be a very clear explanation of what the discriminant is. Please tell me in class if you don't understand something, and I will see you in the next video.